Hey guys, we are live. It is Tuesday, January 30th. And hey, we're just popping in. Talk a little bit about SOS as it's coming up rapidly on Friday. Fox, how's it going, my man?
I learned a lesson, Brad. I learned that running a conference is like pouring a concrete sidewalk.
How's
Get
that?
the forms, you pour the concrete, you get it all set up. Someone tries to write, their name with a stick in there. You have to polish that out, and by the time you get to the conference, it's set, and there's no more changes unless you have a jackhammer. So
Like
we're
I'm I don't want to use the word shocked, but it's pretty crazy because I think this was kind of like partly a joke in a way, right? Like when we first kind of brought up, like, yeah, we should do this. Not
Mhm.
just a year ago, a little over a year
Mhm.
ago, having
Yep.
literally no idea what we were doing. So I don't know about you. I was definitely anxious about how it was, coming together, but I feel like a lot of stuff it came through where it's going to be an awesome event, I think, and I
I
feel
think it's going to be
excited
mainly
about it.
it's going to be right there leading the pack as far as clinical research conferences go. And I want to call it a conference, but I think it's far more about that online community coming together. So like we're together all the time online, and this is just kind of like the Oscars where you get to come here and do things. But yeah,
Well,
I agree. I was sweating bullets for a while, but I can't believe it came together the way it did.
I think for me too, it's look, we talk a lot, including Dan Sfera and others. But I think the nice thing is like giving everyone else an opportunity
Hmm.
in a big forum, to actually hear and say their piece. I know we get good engagement and people talk. I feel like we're getting a lot of conversations going, but to actually be with everyone and hear from them, I'm excited about that. Honestly, I feel like the less I talk, the better during this thing, and the more we hear from the attendees,
Hmm.
the more the happier I'll be, so to speak.
I agree. This is our platform. I don't know if you saw it, but clinical leader just came in saying we're going to give the voice to as many people as possible who wants to write an article. The panel, my goal is let the panelists talk. I might just kind of drive them here and there. Even the small group, it's going to be literally everyone in the small group talking amongst each other and learning with each other. I just want to provide the platform so that people can have a voice.
That's it, man. I hope one day it's that we walked so that others could run, right? I mean,
Hmm.
I think that's kind of what we all hope for. This is just the beginning, and
Yeah.
we learned a lot. So again, I'm excited. I know today, if you're an attendee, you got an email about the app, which is pretty cool. I was going to show it really fast if I can. This isn't exactly what it looks like, just because it's not on the phone, but get the idea. For some reason, I can't find it, so give me a second.
While you're finding that, we did get the email today. Everyone, SOS, no more tickets. We're done. Everything it's completely sold. We're up to capacity, which is pretty cool.
It's good, yeah, not bad at all. So, I mean, this is not quite what it looks like on your phone, but uh, if you want to know what's going on where, I think our initial idea was that this was just going to be like a day of single stage panel, but
Hmm.
it really turned into a lot more where we have a lot of cool sort of dive sessions or breakout panels, whatever you want to call them. So you can always check the little you know where that's not the right link, but the schedule here where the main panels are listed as well as the sort of side panels and workshops, including how to include sites and user testing. A lot of really cool ones. What are you hyped for? I have a pretty good idea. I know what it is, but what's got you the most excited?
I'm the money guy. I'm hyped about this workshop where people do their own negotiation. But I mean, honestly, that diversity one sounds really good as well, Brad. It sounds like they've got a lot of things going together for that. You got a couple really cool dive sessions, right? Isn't there one where
Yeah,
you?
yeah. So, and consider this too as you're looking at this, is that one thing we know is that there's not going to be nearly enough time on stage to cover as much content as people want to see. So a lot of these main stage panels have, well, actually all of them have sort of a follow-on breakout afterward. So additional questions, clarification, deeper dives into what was talked about on stage, and they're not always exactly the same, but maybe they're again a deeper dive into a more narrow focus on what the bigger panel was, and then you've got stuff that's sort of also unrelated. So yeah, I helped put together a couple. I'm excited about the AI being relevant to clinical sites that's happening during lunch. I think we'll get some more info on here as we get everything continually built. And then, for me, one of my follow-ons is how to actually, we talk about PI oversight in one of the main panels, but then having some site representation as well as sponsor representation, talking about like, okay, well, what's it actually like to go through an FDA audit and survive it? So you kind of get both. You get sort of like a more general theory and then a little more deep dive into like the practicality of like, okay, well, what's it actually like, what happens when they call you, what happens when they walk in the door, how do you carry yourself, how do you treat the auditor, etc. So I really love that sort of broad to specific theme I think we're kind of seeing.
The other part about this that I noticed is sometimes in the main stage panels, there's not going to be as much time for people to be able to speak. And that was the number one reason to have SOS, is for people to speak. So that's the other reason for the small groups, is we want everyone to have a voice and to be able to talk about it. The one thing I should note, Brad, and it's a little different to me, is this app, you don't necessarily have to go to like any of the big app stores to get it. It's literally like a QR code on your email. You can snap it with your phone, or you just go to the link if you're on your phone. You go to a website, and then automatically just boom, it downloads on your phone, and then you've got an app. So be sure to. It's a little different than the apps that you're used to, where you say install. You just click on that, and boom, it goes.
Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
Hey, you guys. Sorry, coming in a little bit late.
No worries. We're just kind of talking about the app now that came out, and I think went out an email today.
Awesome.
Which one are you excited for, Ashley? What part?
The panel, there's a few that I'm really excited about. I really like what Brad's going to be doing. I don't want to give anything away, right? But I really like Brad's panel for ClinOps, and kind of excited for panel number 1 as well, just because of the engagement that it's going to bring. And it's specifically something, well, really everything hasn't been done in the conference arena, to be quite honest, even yours, Dr. Fox. And so, but I've never been huge on budgets, so I'm I have more of a how do you say, gosh, I'm kind of like caught in words right now, but I just, ClinOps is my space, right? So kind of have a preferred area.
So I'm glad you said that, Ashley, because that lunch hour is critical. There's a couple times during the event where the audience, the attendees, they get to choose based off of their interest where they want to go. For example, that AI thing that Brad is doing during the lunch hour is the same time I'm doing the finance workshop. So if you don't really want to do anything with budget finance, we want to go learn about AI or recruitment or anything else, that's when everyone kind of goes off on their own and they go based off of their interests. And hopefully they all pick something that they really want to learn.
Yeah, I agree. And there's going to be so much that you can do during the lunch period. And I like that, just because me personally at conferences, I tend to lose momentum during the lunch break. I'm kind of like, we're there for an hour sitting around, and you kind of, shoot the time with everybody. And at that point, I'm like, let's maybe go down to the city or something like that. And there's just not a lot of, ways to kind of keep the audience pulled and engaged. And especially when you just left a session that you really like the topic on, you obviously have more momentum from there, and you want to keep that going. So that's why I'm really excited about that. I'll be the MC, right? So during that time frame, I'm probably going to be running to one of the sessions that I like the most to sit in on as well.
I think we did a pretty good job, I think, this year so far of, I don't know, I've been to conferences where there's like 12 tracks, and then there's like all these talks happening at the same time. different levels of relevance to whatever you may care about, which you've already heard is a thing. So I think we did good of keeping it broad, but not too broad, but also specific without being too specific, right? Like find I think the sort of middle ground, because I hated it because I felt like I've been to these big conferences where there are literally 12 tracks going on, and 80% of it is not that interesting to me. And the only things I do care about are happening at the same time. I feel like it's either I care about nothing, don't care, but I'm not that engaged, or like there are 2 or 3 things happening I do care about, but they're happening at exactly the same time, and I can't possibly get some variety. And so I think we did a pretty good job of kind of mixing it up, and you'll find something that you care to hear or talk about at any given point.
Yeah, and I think the reason why we can stay to that is because you have so many tracks, because you have what the focus on most conferences are is that, okay, let's bring in these people. And sometimes it's even not people with a lot of, heavy background or specificity. Ugh, obviously I can't say that word, but so you have that session of them mainly talking the vast majority of the time and one set topic. Here, we're giving the space. There's a bunch of engagement. I mean, I said this weekend when I was working on the script that I was kind of sad that I'll be busy doing that, because I didn't realize, I knew we were going to have a lot of engagement, but not to this level. And I kind of wish I'd like to be in the audience to see that interaction, because I've never experienced that. And so I think with the interaction involvement at the level that we're having, it's going to give the opportunity to expand outwards and more deeper, but in the space and area of the whole point of the audience where they want to take it. And that's the point, right? This is why we don't need multiple tracks, multiple sessions, because we're not just taking it from the person that's supposed to be creating it. We took from the audience, we did the survey, we heard what they wanted to hear, and then we're going to then give back to them again at the day of, so that they can start to guide it more specifically in that section. So I
And
think
my guess, my prediction, Ashley, is every single one of these panels, you're going to be there and be like, wow, that was quick. I wish I had more. Because it's literally a 1-day conference. I think the success of this conference we really have to lean on our strength. So we are all together because of our presence online. And as a result, I think that it's really important to know what is online before you go there. Prime example is, as far as like the panel goes that I'm running, I already warned people I'm not spending a bunch of time introducing everyone. We're just going to go straight to it. If we don't have time for a 20-minute introduction on a 40-minute panel, we want to get through the stuff.
Yeah.
Same thing with sponsors. If you only have 1 day and a couple sessions to talk with the sponsors, watch the webinars and schedule your 1v1 with your sponsors. That way you make the most out of the time you have in person.
I agree. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Brad. Go for it.
No, but before I'm going to pull this off the screen here in a second. But if again, check your email if you're an attendee. You've got access to the app. If you don't have it for whatever reason, feel free to send one of us a message. But from here you can see our sponsors, learn a little bit. You can book sessions. I know this is something that Dr. Fox had talked about, but look, I've walked up to booths where I want to learn about what they're doing, but it can be tough if there's a crowd, you may not be able to get a little bit of one-on-one time. So you can get, some sessions booked here at the app. I think that closes on Thursday. Is that right?
End of day on Thursday, yeah.
So end of day Thursday.
And you can always view their profile and learn all about them before you book a session. And you can do that on your off time. I say it's always like if you go to a car lot at night and look at the cars when the salespeople don't bother you. It's kind of the same thing, like you go watch a webinar on your own time, and then you decide if you want to talk to these people.
Yeah, and personally, I really like that because I don't like being primed and poked or anything like that. I like to just look around, get a feel. So I was really happy about this option that we were giving the audience.
Yeah, if you want to know, the schedule, which we already talked about, which panels are going on when, learn a little bit about all the different panelists and moderators, learn about the sponsors, get a map of the venue, meal options, other FAQs, what should I wear, hey,
Mhm.
where would you want? You know, whatever.
Yes.
They're all here on the app.
Some people will be coming
So
in costumes, I hear. I'm excited
right.
for that.
Yeah, the costumes. Brad, I was wondering if we could go over that map real quick. That
Oh
might be
yeah,
something
sorry.
they might
Uh,
appreciate.
Before we sub the map, feel free to go on it. I just wanted to make a note was that you were talking about how we were not going to be introducing individuals. So I just wanted to, put here that you guys please go to the website and look at the panelists. This is huge because when you actually look up the panelists, you're going to find out that some of these individuals have some really amazing backgrounds. So I'm going to give you an example of one. I'm not going to give you their name so you can go look. But this individual has a communications background, heavy and specialized communications to the point where they even did a high profile campaign project for the president, right? So, I mean, you have the chance to talk about marketing with these individuals that might help your site. I mean, there's so many things out there. So please take advantage, look at the information. So you already know how that person looks. You're going to try to get a moment to speak with them and all of that great stuff. And you maybe even have questions geared towards that when they're on the panel.
Mhm.
Right. So think about it and just, consider that.
Yeah, and we'll be relying on our MC to do a lot of the introductions. You might have some surprises
Mhm.
for the panelists, for the all of the guests.
Yes.
So if you look at this, and they did a great job marking this, but if you want to walk through it, at the very top you see it says registration, QA desk, and start. So when you walk into the University of Arizona, keep in mind I believe this is the third floor of the facility. It's a huge facility. Go to the third floor, find this registration desk. You're going to get there, grab a badge, grab your swag bag made by the special needs company. Remember that? So my guess is those are all going to be taken pretty quick. You're going to go into the doors and enter what's called the North Ballroom. That North Ballroom is going to be where we eat lunch. It's where we hang out. It's where we can sit down and talk to people. There might be some lounges on either of the sidebars. Those two rooms adjacent to the North Ballroom on the right and left, those are going to be your locations for sponsors, sponsor setups. Um, I'm not I'm making sure I'm not lagging. I'm not going to give it all away, but the sponsor setups definitely aren't going to be like the conferences you're used to. Some people like to call it anti-conference. It's very much informal. We want you to have a really good relationship with those sponsors. There's going to be a blanket fort, and we're not going to promote snacks, but if people have snacks at the blanket fort, we don't know about it, and it's not our choice. Um, if you go from the North Ballroom down to the South Ballroom, that's the main stage. So that's where you're going to sit, watch the stage. That's where your 6 main panels are going to be. Ashley's going to be living here. We're going to set up a cot for her right there. And then over on the right and the left side of the South Ballroom, you've got the breakout session areas. And please keep in mind that you have to leave below the stage across the hallway. See that little bitty corner, little room down there in the corner in the bottom left? That is where my workshop is going to be for the small groups. So if you did want to find that, it's going to be down there in the corner.
Beautiful. It's a good walkthrough. I like it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Also, keep in mind where the bathrooms are. That's really important.
hmm And just know, you guys, there's going to be, again, not the same as the usual conference. Even during the time frames that you are not in a panel or in a small session, we're going to have people there walking around, helping you go where you need to go. So always feel free to ask questions. There's also going to be things being passed out because we're going to be doing certain events in between stuff as well. So we're going to keep you moving, keep you engaged the entire time. There's also going to be, I forget exactly what it's called, but there's going to be a wall there for you to provide your input. I can't stress this enough. Please, throughout all the panels, you don't have to just do it once. You can do it as many times as you'd like. Go in there, leave a sticky note, leave a note, however you like. Input on what it is that you would maybe where you'd like us to have the next SOS conference. Maybe, other topics that you would like, people that you would recommend for certain specific areas, right? And so all those kinds of things, if you come up with an idea and you were not able to provide your input during the time of the open mic session because everybody wanted to participate, it's fine. Pull these individuals over, these panelists over, pull me over if you see me, or Raul, the other MC, and we'll be happy to take note of that. But please, engage on that board, engage in all the things that we're going to have there, because that is ultimately going to help guide us for the following SOS conference.
Mm-hmm.
And not even, I think, the idea is that this isn't just a conference or even a series of conferences, right? Like it's beyond that. I think the conference is a part of something bigger that, we want to try to build here, which is some community, amongst sites. So, I love that we've tried to be, pretty deliberate in putting things together so that we can work towards that, and not just here are some sponsors who bought stage time, which you're also not going to find. We chose people who are experts at what they do, and have a perspective to share that's not necessarily affiliated with trying to sell you something.
Mm-hmm.
We all have things we prefer, but I love that that's also a big focus. Is not You're not getting marketed to on stage, right? We're all trying to figure out the best way to do things, and it's not buy my product.
Well, and panels are not real estate. Speaking slots are not real estate. And I think I really like what Ashley said. I think one of the biggest trends you'll see here is you have a voice. Here's a way to speak up. We want you to have the opportunity to speak as an industry, as a site group.
And
Yes.
to Ashley's point too, like we want to engage with vendors. I'm not trying to say anything bad or wrong with these companies. They're our partners. We need them. And again, I think we've tried to be deliberate about which sponsors we took on, the ones that are, actually provide some value to site. So yes, go talk to them, make friends. We need each other,
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I don't want to say we're saying anything bad about these companies,
Mm-mm.
Again, but
No,
we want the stage to be a little more ambiguous, I guess, in terms
Exactly.
of any company affiliation.
There's just
So,
better ways to communicate and to
Mhm.
create community and communication about what sites need, what vendors need, and how we can work together to help each other. So when there's an aspect of selling, it is of genuine, um,
Relationships.
relationships. Exactly. So we're
Yeah.
trying to facilitate that, be the platform for that. And so again, one thing I have been telling individuals that have been reaching out to me is that please come. We want to also hear feedback, but also know that if you have an opinion, whether you like to get on the mic or not, because some of us don't like the mic, and that's completely fine. Make sure you're actually doing your part, because it's not just CRO sponsors fault. No, this is also sites, right? So if you want to talk about solutions and be adamant about, okay, well, we need better things here or there, okay, great, then you need to do your part, show up, talk to us indirectly or not directly through the mic, or write your information stuff down that you want to make sure that we hear, because that is how ultimately we can continue to work, as Brad was saying, to work and build and grow much more in the way that we can do to make the community work better together, right? Because that is the end goal.
yeah, and I hope what we're doing is creating a place where truth can be told, right? And it's not that like it's not somebody standing on the stage telling you what you need as a site. It's sites saying like, here's what we need. And I think if you're a vendor or a sponsor or a CRO, like you want to be there hearing these conversations. And I feel like you should feel uh empowered to say what you need and what you want from sites, right? So again, I think we want every stakeholder and we value every stakeholder. And I hate using the word stakeholder because it sounds so.
Sounds like we're hunting vampires,
I
doesn't it?
know it does. But I
Well,
mean, but it's true, like. But I think that's where it is. Is it's like let's all, if we want to solve the problem, we all have to start with being honest with each other.
yeah,
And sometimes that sucks and it's a little bit painful, but we all want to get over the hump.
Mhm.
So
100%.
again, I think that's where there's hopefully some value here, even if you're a CRO or a sponsor or a vendor. Hopefully,
And
you're going to
honestly,
hear
Brad,
straight from the horse's
this
mouth.
this whole online presence converted into a conference kind of a model for the sponsors.
Hmm.
So far, very, very positive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that it's different. For example, we didn't give an attendee list. People were very mad about that, but we gave them an anonymous attendee list. These are the people who you can expect to come. And then we said, well, we'll give you a 1-versus-1 scheduling assistant. That way, okay, we're not going to give you a list so you go spam everyone who does,
Hmm.
maybe people who don't want to talk to you. but we'll give people an opportunity to sign up and talk with you. That way it's a mutual interest. And so far, I think that what I've heard, the sponsors are very happy with what they're getting at the conference. So it's mutual.
Yeah, and there's also going to be, some little things here and there that gives focus to the sponsors at the day of the conference as well. So, again, not saying that they're not important, and the vendors, they're very, very important to us. It's the only way that we can all work harmoniously together and bring the change to the industry. I mean, some things that we don't actually speak about often. I'm the only one that doesn't have a site, and I'm a CRA, and I was from a CRO, and I'm currently at a sponsor, right? So I see that perspective and I understand both ends. And so it's not just, sites and all sites against this or that. As some people have displayed it is not like that at all. There's just a genuine understanding of wanting to create, bridges in these gaps, because there's obviously gaps. And, if nobody else is going to address it, then we're going to do everything we can to do as much as we possibly can, right, with you.
And I think that's it. I feel like a lot of the mischaracterization has been because sites often come from a place of frustration because they haven't felt like they've gotten like the right representation. If you go to conferences, you can see that because I've I've sat through many things and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good for sites, and it's just a marketing spiel, right? Like, okay, but that's not real. That's not reflective of what sites are going through. So, if anything, I think this will help soften the conversation in a way. Sites will help give us an opportunity to feel like we do have that representation. So I don't know. Again, I'm stoked. It's all, I feel like, come together a lot over the last couple of months, especially. You guys have both put in a ton of hard work, so thank you for that. Jerks like me just show up and do some panels, but you guys are doing a lot of the hard stuff on the back end.
No, well, we gotta give you credit for your t-shirts, Brad, because your t-shirts,
We'll see.
they're great.
There's going to be a lot of little fun stuff. I think
Yes.
people will be surprised by, and we're seeing people are looking forward to it. Man, looks like Fox is going to have some high expectations.
Yeah.
Bring it. Honestly, I have no idea how many people are going to be in that workshop, but I'll plan for the best.
And yeah, Rod, if you haven't checked out the app, I mean, the idea
Check out the app.
that's shaped out over time is that we're not just the main stage, but having these small breakouts, and I think those will probably evolve a lot over time too. First time out, I think it was sort of like wasn't in our initial plan, so we kind of improved into it in a way. So I'm really happy with what we're able to put together, but I think it's going to be even more exciting, like as the years go on, and we're able to really like refine what these look like. So yeah, Alicia, I know. I think Alicia is part of one of the
she
panels.
is.
Yeah,
I'm excited to meet you, Alicia. I really loved your video. Something I do think it's really great to mention is that if you are there and you enjoy what you see and you like the type of interaction and you feel that that kind of interaction is something you can get behind, I mean, obviously, down the line, we're going to be looking for more speakers. I think it would be great if you were to keep that in mind, reach out to us, and so that we can, accumulate a list and be able to talk to individuals, research you a little bit, and see how much we can have you help the sites, right? So,
yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't think we want to be putting on the same thing with the same content. We know the light things aren't going to change in a year, and that's fine. But I like that being able to get more people involved. That was the whole idea, right? Like it's not just us. But I mean, I don't know what else you guys got. I just wanted to do a short sort of pre-show thing. I know that I'm leaving tomorrow. I think we're all going to be in town at some point tomorrow in Tucson, so I think everybody's excited. And
if you guys see us on the plane, scream SOS. No, Johnny, don't do that. Not on the plane. Not on the plane.
we're gonna get grounded. Ashley told me to.
No, but make sure to say hi. I have a feeling that I'm gonna probably run into a few people in Dallas. At least I hope so. That would be awesome. But yeah, we're all gonna be there starting tomorrow, and it's all here. Ready?
Mitchell's already there.
Yeah, go ahead and scope it out.
Nice, Mitchell.
He's
burrito run. Mitch, you're in charge of the burrito run.
Yeah.
He's on top of the building already.
In his Batman outfit.
I think this first year, I don't think we're going to be doing much of any recording, unfortunately. unless there's something I don't know.
I
There
We,
may be
we
something I
are
missed.
recording the panels. As far as what
Okay.
we'll do with that content, like the entire thing straight, probably not. To be quite honest, I know that I'm more than likely going to be breaking that content up into more important segments, like maybe a really important thing that we spoke about in this particular panel that got a lot more attention, maybe something like that. But again, this is our first time around. We're still kind of getting a feel for how we're going to be utilizing some of this content. So, just keep following us, and really hope to see you at the next one for sure if you're not able to make it to this one.
And Rod is just bragging at this point. Well,
Not
good, Rod.
fair.
We'll hope to see you guys all there. You guys have anything else before we go? Again, I just wanted to
No.
say we're
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it, and I think
Thank you,
we're
everyone.
all excited
Thank
and
you,
probably
guys.
ready for it to be over this first time, right?
Yeah.
Fun's just begun.
Fun has just begun, 100%. But yes,
Yeah. Come to the
look forward
party
to seeing you
Thursday.
guys.
Come to the party
Yes,
Thursday night.
come to the parties, please.
Awesome. All right, guys. That's
Thanks,
it.
Brad. We'll see you guys very soon.
later this week. Peace.
All right. Bye, everyone.